is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
So, Alain, good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. What'd you think of the Lightning comeback yesterday? It's pretty awesome,
Good.
huh?
No, I like it. Hey, they're not going to go down without a fight. That's a team with some championship pedigree right there, man.
Dude, and that Kucherov pass.
We can play.
Holy shit, dude. I mean, he set up his teammate beautifully, but just to have the vision to make that pass, dude, and quickly. I mean, that's the other thing. It has to be done so quickly. How gifted these guys are that they can just shift that puck to each other at lightning speeds. And, man, that is some impressive stuff, dude.
At this point, I'd like to see a Tampa Bay, Colorado final, hoping Braden Point's back in the lineup, because then you'd have like this great matchup. But I mean, obviously, props to the Rangers if they can get it done. And Gerard Gallant was nothing but class when he was here as a Panther head coach in my dealings with him. So I'd be happy for him as well. But
why doesn't he keep the jobs? That's the part I don't. Is that just hockey? Because hockey changes coaches like underwears. Because I don't know if there's another sport that has more changes in their head coaching than hockey. I mean, they change coaches, bro. In that sport.
No, they do. That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure why he got a raw deal with the Panthers, especially.
So what happened? What happened with the Knights then?
Correct. Well, the Knights just got rid of Pete DeBoer, who had
former Panther,
great results. Another former Panther coach. After 1 year where things don't go right when they had injuries, up the wazoo. So. Yeah, it's not a ton of patience. And then you're looking with the Panthers, who have a guy who takes over as interim head coach, leads the team to the best record in the NHL, and now he's in limbo, and he might not be back as a head coach on a permanent basis. So, yeah, it's a tough crowd, man.
I think I might have figured out Gallant.
Go ahead.
Maybe Gallant is the employee that doesn't buy the bullshit, and if you tell him something, he's gonna say, "Yeah, no, that's wrong. No, that's not right." Because I can kind of relate to that, by the way. I'm just saying.
Really, you have experience in that department?
Yeah, I'm just wondering. I kind of have that experience of being the employee. What? No, dude, no, you're full of shit, dude. You're wrong. I'm not doing that. No. So, yeah, maybe he's that guy. Maybe he's the employee that just tells you like it is, but you don't want to hear it sometimes. I don't know. Because you can't do a good job with Florida. You can't do a good job with the Knights. And now you're doing a good job with the Rangers, and yet you're getting rid of the guy. It doesn't make sense. It's just kind of weird. And I look at the Panthers and I look at the Knights, and they're like, okay, you guys can't, you kind of can't stand in your own way at times so I'm just saying.
I told our good friend Joe Shad when the Rangers hired him, Joe's a big Rangers fan. I said, your team just done good right there. So, and I'm going to guess by now he likes to hire.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah. I would imagine so. I mean, who doesn't at this point? If you're a Rangers fan, you got to love the results from all of that. All right. So just out of curiosity, out of all of this, all this talk that comes out of all this, do you see or do you think there's too much overanalyzing going on with the Dolphins and Tua?
Oh, there's no question about it. But it's the nature of the business. There's nothing else going on right now. Fans want information. True. They want any nugget possible. But yeah, even every good practice should be taken with a grain of salt because it's June. Every bad practice should be taken with a grain of salt but
it's not. Every good practice, you're winning the Super Bowl. Every bad practice, he's a backup.
Correct. And the thing is every little time you're out there is just but a tiny, tiny piece to the puzzle. And when you get to training camp are slightly bigger pieces than the OTAs. Preseason games are slightly bigger pieces than training camp practices. Then you get to the regular season, then you get the big pieces. And then you can form a clear opinion. And the bottom line, the truth is, I mean, let's be honest, we can make all the projections we want, predict everything we want. We don't know for sure.
Right.
We can think we know. I know you're completely convinced he's going to ball out.
Yeah, I do. I think if you solve the running game and the line, he's going to be fine. Yes.
Okay, but you can be confident on you, and that's great. But you don't know for sure, and I don't know for sure. And nobody knows for sure.
No, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
That's all.
Yeah. No, I just what I would like is allow the fans should just be allowed to enjoy the offseason. Dude, your defense wasn't a major problem. Okay, it's got to be a little better against the run. Okay, fine. But you brought everybody back, so you should be pretty good defensively. Special teams, outside of trading the greatest returner in the history of the Dolphins, which, that was a disappointment. What can I tell you? No, but you got your punter. You got a veteran punter to kind of help that out. And you have a lot of continuity. Okay, so your offense had no continuity. You couldn't build an offensive staff. Dude, they addressed that this offseason. They addressed the offensive weapons, the offensive staff. At least just sit back and enjoy that for now. You haven't won anything. There's no offseason to win. There's no games, no nothing. But you needed to address something. They addressed it. At least if you're a Dolphins fan, after a 9 and 10 win seasons, you have to feel like maybe we got a shot at getting a little better now, because if this offense is fixed, can you just enjoy the moment is what I would tell people. That's all. That's it. We don't know if it'll work, but for now, they did what they needed to do.
Correct. That's fair. And again, with that, this is why I will never begrudge any Dolphin fan for being highly optimistic right now, because they should be. The flip side to that, if you want to play the glass, that's the glass half full, the glass half empty, and why the over-unders aren't higher than they are, because I know everybody's going, well, they were 9 and 8 last year. They made all these additions, and they should be much better. So why is the over-under around that same number? Well, because there's an uncertainty factor, because you have a bunch of new coaches on offense. Right. And like it or not, the Dolphins did feast on a bad schedule to get their 7 straight wins last year. So
right.
It needs to be proven for everybody to completely buy into this team being a legitimate playoff contender, more so than they were the past 2 years when they were on the doorstep. And yet they were on the doorstep, and yet in the too many games that could have gotten them in, they got blown out where they looked like they didn't even belong.
Question, and obviously I'll bring it up with Omar tomorrow, but he wrote an article where he thought that that Tua was a little too standoffish at times with teammates, and I would say to him, that's an overreaction on his part. There's lots of players in the history of sports that are introverts, that don't necessarily socialize. You were around Ricky, and so was I. He wasn't socializing with teammates, but he was rushing for 1,800 yards. You know what I mean? I think Dan might have joked around with a couple guys, but you weren't really socializing with Dan. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It just, and Dan's a completely different than Ricky. I'm just saying there's different levels of it. I don't think that that's important as long as he's able to communicate and win. Do you think that him being reserved like he is an issue?
I would tell you in an ideal world, I'd like my quarterback to be an alpha personality, as opposed.
But maybe he is alpha, but he's not Mr. Personality.
No, I don't. Actually, I think Tua's got a, based on all we can see and all appearances and all indications are, he's that friendly, outgoing personality.
He is communicative. Yes, he does communicate with his guys.
He's not an alpha. He's even said that himself, that he's not the type of guy to get in somebody's face to kick some ass. And personally, ideally, I'd like my quarterback to have that in his book bag to pull out when necessary. And if you talk about Marino, maybe not socializing with teammates, and
Oh, but he got in your face.
He got in people's faces.
I don't. You know what? I don't know. Was Montana like that? Because he doesn't say it. Doesn't come off like he was the guy that got in your face or anything. He was just Joe Cool.
Yeah. I don't know either. And again, I hate to use examples from
Kurt Warner,
Mr.
God. There's no way he was that guy rattling.
Let's go more recent. Aaron Rodgers is that type of guy. Peyton Manning certainly was that type of guy.
No, but I think Aaron Rodgers will mother F you.
Well,
I think he'll go. But I think Warner is. I don't think he was Mr. Intensity and all that kind of stuff. I don't think. By the way, I don't think Mark Brunell was that guy either. And he's also the God Squad type. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
So.
And again, I'm not saying it's an absolute prerequisite, but I think all things being equal, I would prefer that. Obviously, not taking it to the extreme where you're MFing everybody on every play that doesn't go.
Or you're Joe Namath with the fur coat on the sidelines. I got you.
Yeah, wanting to kiss sideline reporters. But that.
Yeah, I want to kiss you.
Yeah. And all things being equal. If he balls out, that goes along. This issue of leadership, you ball out, that goes a long way towards establishing leadership to where everybody on the offense is going to be like at attention without Tua having to raise his voice or say anything. If there are issues on, things don't go particularly well, then it's a little tougher.
Right. Yeah, it helps in probably rough waters to have that guy that can rattle cages, can massage, although Tua looks kind of to me like the guy that is going to massage, not really hammer you. You know what I mean? Although it's kind of weird because all his coaches have been guys that are brutal on him, actually. This is like the only guy that's not been that way because he talks about his dad, how his dad was worse than Saban, actually. Correct. So, you know what I mean? So it's not like he's not used to the tough love, but he doesn't seem like he's the guy that is going to rip into you, but probably give you more of he might be more Mike McDaniel in the way he communicates to his teammates, in other words.
No, I agree. And this is where I would also point out that I think this is where a guy like Teron Armstead could help out, where if somebody needs to kick ass on offense and get everybody to get their shit together, that could be your guy right there.
Yeah, that kind of like what Udonis Haslem does for the Miami Heat, because I think that's I don't think Spo is really the cage rattler and all that. I think he'll say a couple things, but he's not Pat Riley. You know what I mean? Where I think that's why UD is around, because he's the motivational guy. Where Pat Riley could be the motivational guy. He didn't need that. I don't think Spo's the motivational guy. I think Spo is the cerebral guy. He's the guy that wins you over by, oh shit, coach, you're right, dude. If I do this, he's the guy that's the smarter guy in the room. You know what I mean? At least that's kind of the way I've gotten the impression from Spo.
No question about it. And Haslam is also a player. So when he talks to the players, because some players respond better to guys, hey, he's played the game. He's telling me, get my ass in gear. I'm going to get my ass in gear.
Yeah, he's got rings. Yeah, so he's been able to do that. All right. What do you want to see this week compared to what you've seen? I know you can't necessarily elaborate deep on what you saw, but what kind of improvements are you looking forward to this final week before the boys are off for about 6 weeks, making every NFL executive nervous in the league?
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to see a whole lot because we're only allowed to watch practice tomorrow. They're practicing today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, and then that's it. We're only going to see tomorrow. What I want to see is more, better consistent execution on offense, more completions. Not necessarily. I don't need to see bombs. I need to see, 15 to 20 yard completions on a regular basis, more so than I saw last week at those 2 mini camp practices that overall were not impressive by the offense.
All right. What are you working on Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out?
Yeah, we got a busy week this week at alldolphins.com. I have revived the series with coinciding with the countdown to the start of the NFL regular season, every day that we get closer, we're going to examine that number corresponding to the date today is 94 days till the start of the NFL regular season, looking at every Dolphin player who's ever worn 94 and ranking the top 3. And happy to say Christian Wilkins has made it in the top 3 since the last time we did the list. So with that, we have a story on Cedric Wilson looking to build off his career year in Dallas last year and looking so far, liking what he's seen in his new surroundings. And we're going to have a lot more stuff coming up. Got a notebook coming up this afternoon and several other things as well. And
you like what you see from Noah, right?
Very much so. Very encouraged by what I see from Noah. I mean, and then he's a guy I've paid attention to more so than, say, Nick Needham on the other side, because
obviously you're not worried about Nick Needham anymore.
Right.
He's going to be just a regular human being. Play good most of the time. Once in a while, have a bad day like everybody else, and you're fine. But monogamy is the enigma that everybody's trying to figure out. So yeah,
he's the enigma. How's that? Can I do it?
Yeah. That's a good one. Enigma nominee.
There you go.
All right. There we go. All right. Follow him on Twitter, Poupart NFL, and it is alldolphins.com. It's that simple, and bookmark the bitch because he is producing articles like crazy. It's a race between him and Manny Navarro, who can pump out more articles. All right. Appreciate you, my brother. We'll catch up later in the week.
You got it. Talk to you on Thursday.
As always, bringing it strong with that Montreal Expos hat.